Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of your show, Hala Kuwait. My name is Fatma Awadi, and with me is Mohammed Dabloushi. How are you?
How are you, Fatma? And good evening to you, the viewers. This evening, we prepared for you a very special content, including reports, segments, and also a very special guest. We have a lot to share this evening with our dear viewers, Fatma. So what do we have first?
So first, we have this report about emotional intelligence, which is very interesting. So we're going to watch it together. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the next guest. In 1990, the psychologists John Mayer and Peter Salovey defined the term emotional intelligence as the ability to perceive emotions, to access and generate emotions so as to assist thought, to understand emotions and emotional knowledge, and to reflectively regulate emotions so as to promote emotional and intellectual growth. The four aspects identified by Mayer and Salovey involve recognizing one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Also, applying emotion appropriately to facilitate reasoning. Moreover, understanding complex emotions and their influence on succeeding emotional states. And lastly, having the ability to manage one's emotions as well as the emotions of others. The concept of emotional intelligence was popularized by the psychologist and journalist Daniel Goleman in books published from the 1990s. Several tests developed to measure emotional intelligence have shown modest correlations between emotional intelligence and conventional intelligence.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and our guest this evening is Hassa Al-Hassawi, Transformation Coach. Ms. Hassa, welcome to Hala Kuwait. It's really a pleasure to have you again with us.
Thank you for having me again.
It's our pleasure. So will you please explain to us when it comes to this subject of subconsciousness? It can affect us either positively or it can be sometimes something we need to improve. So can you explain to us the role of subconsciousness and the subconscious mind in shaping our thoughts and also especially our behaviors?
Of course. So when we start working with ourselves, we start with the idea teaching the client that you have your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and then your behaviors. So whatever you think in your conscious mind first has to pass through the filter of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is 95% of your thoughts. So you think that you are thinking what you're thinking, but in reality you are thinking the thoughts in your subconscious mind.
Exactly.
So yes, it does affect your behavior. Yes, it does affect your actions. Yes, it does affect your decision making in every way possible.
Okay, so since you mentioned decision making, we need to have a spotlight on it, especially when subconscious mind influence our decision making process. So
Yes.
can you please explain it more to us?
Okay, so when you have any decision that you want to make, so let's make it simple. Let's do like a household decision. If I want to raise my kids and I want them to put them in camp, for example. So maybe I get this idea that I want my kids to try everything and do everything, and so that they cannot miss out on anything. And I think it's because I want to be a good mom and I want to provide them everything and every option available. But when you sit with yourself and when you learn more about yourself, you learn that maybe you have a subconscious belief that you did not get everything that you ever wanted. And now you're imposing that on your kids. And it may be the other way around. So when we sit with ourselves and learn about our subconscious thoughts, we start making decisions and start making, having thoughts that are, let's say, more refined, because now we know what our subconscious thoughts are and we do not base them off of our subconscious beliefs. And
Exactly.
the next step is you changing those subconscious thoughts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's, I believe it's an example of using the subconscious mind and not in a very positive way, especially when you see a mother or father, or both of the parents, spoiling their children.
Yes.
And their excuse would be like, we didn't get that when we were children, we have to offer it to our children.
Yes.
It can happen sometimes.
Yes, so it can be extremes. Like going through extremes is one way we can identify that it's a subconscious belief. It's not something we are aware of. You're not really aware of what you're doing when you go through really extreme actions.
Exactly. So it's like leadership in a family setting.
Yes.
How can subconscious mind affect it?
In a family setting.
Yes.
It affects it in every way. So in my teachings, in what I do and what I learn, I try to learn more of a holistic kind of approach. So I try to learn in every dimension, in every possible area. So I have learned through studying and through application that whatever is happening in the parent's subconscious mind mostly affects the kids directly. And it really affects every decision that is being made in the household,
Exactly.
even in the relationship between the husband and wife.
Exactly.
So how does it affect decision making in a family setting? It affects it in every way. In every decision that you make, what schools they go to, what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of food they eat, the way you, even your quality time with them.
Exactly.
Some people spend quality time with their kids and feel guilty if they don't. Some people don't spend quality time with their kids and feel guilty when they don't. And it's like this cycle of, you know. So understanding your subconscious thoughts and, let's say, the set of beliefs that you have from your childhood would really affect it in a good way, because you would be more aware.
Exactly.
Being more aware, being more present with your kids is going to allow you to be more in touch with them. So actually anything you do with them is going to be much more effective.
Exactly.
So when I teach my child from my subconscious beliefs is extremely different than when I teach her after I know what my subconscious beliefs are and I refine them.
Exactly. What happens sometimes when the parents believe, or the guardians, they believe that they're doing well with everyone. Some of their close friends, they might be shy, or other family members, they're shy to tell them the, let's say, the point that we need to improve in raising their children. It can be effective sometimes, especially if they got shocked, either at school, if something happened, or in any different place in the society. Even it can be at the university nowadays. So how can parents or guardians become aware of, or to address the subconscious biases that may affect their parenting style? They might think, which is really dangerous and risky, if they think they're doing right for several years, let's say maybe a decade, then they discover it was wrong from the beginning.
Okay, so number one, we have to learn. And what's interesting is when we're talking about parenting right now, but I also believe it applies on everything. When you learn, you have to learn about yourself. So no one can learn for you, and no one can tell you. When you learn, you're learning about your subconscious beliefs and your subconscious thoughts. So you're the one who has to put the effort and dig and learn and try to bring it up and try to change and experiment and relearn and repattern. So we have, there's, I think I coach my clients, it's to recognize, release, and repattern. You recognize the subconscious thought, you release it, and then you repattern it with the thought that you want. Now, what happens when you repattern it with the thought that you want? You have to experiment. Is this what I want? Because it maybe you don't want that.
Exactly.
Maybe after you apply a pattern that you think you wanted, maybe then it's something you don't want. So it's a journey, it's a self-based journey.
Exactly.
So when I think parents are so adamant and persistent on trying to do the best for their kids.
Exactly.
But
it can be wrong.
The best thing you can do for your kids is to do the best for yourself.
Exactly.
Because then it's just going to be a reflection.
Exactly.
When you cannot, your kids are a direct reflection of you.
Definitely.
What made parenting easier for me, and what I tell my clients and my friends all the time, that our kids are our mirrors. Exactly. They are literally just a mirror that's a reflection of us. You want to know you're doing well? Follow your body. Our God gave us a built-in radar.
Exactly.
We have built-in radar of feelings and emotions, and our nervous system tells us if things are right or wrong. So we call it the contractive feeling or the expansive feeling. If you feel contractive when doing something, look into it. It does not mean that it's wrong.
Exactly.
It means that maybe there's something we need to learn here.
Exactly.
Is it an expansive feeling? Then go ahead and expand on it.
Exactly.
Expand on it and grow on it. So I feel like it's like a dance.
Exactly. So very well said from your behalf, Hassa, and everyone. I'm sure our viewers are enjoying the valuable information you're sharing with us regarding how to manage the subconscious mind to be successful and to manage everything well. But always, our viewers and also your trainees, they always want techniques, and they want to reprogram their schedule and also the subconscious mind to foster better leadership when it comes to the daily task, or maybe family also.
So what can they do? Techniques? Okay.
Please. Especially at home.
Okay. This is a technique we can do everywhere, on anything. So you want to listen to your base. Your base is your thoughts, your feelings, and your body. You want to listen to those three, and you want to get your messages from them. If you get a contractive feeling, as we mentioned earlier, you receive a feeling that's contractive. Why do we call it contractive? Because we do not want to call it jealousy, envy, anger.
Exactly.
It's just a contractive feeling. It's a feeling that makes you shrink. This
can happen to everyone.
Everyone. You do not need to, in the beginning, you do not need to label it. As long as you feel this shrinkage in your body, that's a contractive feeling. خلاص, يلا, let's take that contractive feeling, and now let's trace it back to the thought.
Exactly.
Before you do, what we usually do is get a contractive feeling and then act upon it. Stop yourself. Don't act upon it. Take the contractive feeling, go to a secure place on your own, go to your room, go to your office, go to your wherever place you can be alone, and trace that feeling back to the thought. What is the thought? Now, we don't want that thought to be a shallow thought, or like the top thought. We want the deep core thought. So sit with yourself, sit with the feeling, feel the feeling, let the thoughts come, write it down, sit with it, and you will reach a subconscious belief. That subconscious belief is the reason you had that contractive feeling. So you get that thought, you understand it, now you understand the contractive feeling. Trust me, you are going to act differently.
Exactly. So let's say it's general to ask Hassa, because you're a Kuwaiti lady and you know that, so you get this question from everyone, especially people living outside Kuwait, when they ask you about the secret about entrepreneurship in Kuwait. MashaAllah, a lot of people are entrepreneurs and business managers in Kuwait, but I believe it's more important not to ask you why, MashaAllah, Kuwait having a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, but we must ask you that how does the subconscious mind play a role in business leadership and management, especially in Kuwait?
I think that understanding your subconscious mind and your set of beliefs and refining them is literally going to create a smoother, better flow of work. So understanding the subconscious mind, or understanding your subconscious mind and your subconscious belief, will allow you to skip the lessons, let's say, because so much, there's this saying I heard somewhere, I'm just going to rephrase it. It says
Please.
that we think we want to be entrepreneurs, so we want the business, but in the end we understand that the business is teaching us.
Exactly.
We did this entrepreneurship, we did this business so that we can learn more about ourselves, not the business.
Exactly.
So learning more about yourself from the beginning is gonna cut away so many obstacles and failures. It's gonna create a smoother flow. It will definitely allow any entrepreneur to know how to deal with, because they say when you're an entrepreneur, the first 5 years in your business, it's like you're dealing with a baby. The business is like a baby. You have to be heads on, like hands on all the time. So it's literally like having a household,
Exactly.
like raising kids.
Exactly.
So when you're more conscious about what's going on inside of you, you will not ruin your baby.
Definitely.
So your business is going to grow faster, your business is going to grow smoother, and the flow is going to be better. And you will definitely be a smoother, better leader towards whenever you hire any employees. Employees will be more loyal to you, more loyal to your business. And this is how the subconscious mind comes in. If we do not know what our subconscious beliefs are, we would be probably, because everyone initially is, we would be probably running in survival.
Exactly.
And running in survival literally shuts out everything, either in the short run or the long run.
Definitely.
It will create this push out. It will push out everything that's good, because
Definitely.
you have to end up facing that survival and
Definitely.
changing
and,
it.
Yeah, and interacting with it also. So one of the most frequently asked questions to you, if you talk about entrepreneurs and business leaders, definitely you faced people you dealt with when it comes to entrepreneurs who have the similar business, but you feel comfortable to one more than the other, especially if you want to buy something from them or you want to deal with them in a specific project. So how does subconscious mind affect the business leadership?
It will affect you in two ways, your fears and your intuition. And your fears and your intuition, you need both of them to make a decision, to reach a decision that if you want to depend on numbers, you can depend on numbers, but using your intuition is one of the strongest things that you can do to make business decisions.
Exactly.
So refining your beliefs and refining your subconscious thoughts is going to fine-tune your intuition.
Exactly.
And that's going to make you make better decisions that are going to have better results for your journey.
Exactly.
So when I deal with entrepreneurs, my clients, when they start up, we deal with a lot of fears. So fear creates this they cannot see. It will make you not see clearly. It blurs. It blurs your intuition. Correct.
Exactly.
Fear blurs your intuition. Fear blurs your vision. So your intuition is like your eyes.
Definitely.
Your intuition helps you see clearly, and fear blurs your vision.
Exactly.
So any person who's starting up a new business must deal with their fears and their subconscious beliefs so that their fears do not blur their vision into making the decisions that would help them grow.
Exactly. Sometimes people around us might let us down, like poisonous personality, people who can be negative, people who can scare us. It can be true, but sometimes it can be an excuse. So the worst person that might affect us and drag us down is us sometimes. Yes. So how can individuals identify and overcome subconscious barriers, especially the barriers we put it in our heads,
ourselves.
Between us and ourselves? It doesn't exist, it's not true. So how can we overcome it, especially when it comes to effective leadership?
Learning. You never stop learning. You never stop learning until the last day of your life. You keep on learning more about the things that are available. You keep on learning more about yourself. Going on journeys with yourself to explore yourself never fails you.
Exactly.
You will always learn more about yourself. There is always more to learn, and there is always more to progress.
Exactly.
All your questions, and this is again something I say to all of my clients, all your questions are with you. You just need to know how to bring them out. They are inside of you.
Exactly.
So how do I bring them out? I learn the techniques and the processes to help me bring them out. That's it. That's all I need to do. Learn, keep on progressing, keep on learning. Also, be very kind to yourself. It's okay. At one point, you learned this thing about yourself. With time, it's going to change. That's okay. You're progressing. You're learning. You're growing. That's okay. We are not set on stone. And that's what's beautiful about us.
Exactly.
We're not set on stone. We're not one person that never grows and never changes.
Exactly.
So learn, never stop learning, never stop searching, never stop looking for a better version of yourself. And it's a beautiful journey. It's not about not being satisfied. It's about understanding that satisfaction comes from the joy of learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at this level of the interview, me and our viewers, we can say and we can notice that, mashallah, you are really generous when it comes to information you share with your trainees and with us, especially tonight. So let's stop talking now. Let's stop talking now for a moment about individuals, and let's mention organizations.
Okay.
It's really important also, the workplace, the work environment. So how can organizations support their leaders in understanding and managing subconscious influences? Of course, you cannot only do that. Thanks to you, you're doing great effort with your trainees, but also organizations have their responsibilities.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I think creating conscious, aware employees is one of the best things you can do for your company, because when your employees are conscious and aware, they themselves are going to make correct decisions, and they're going to help the company to grow. So any company can organize. There are many coaches around. There are many therapists. There are many programs available. The knowledge is there. The programs are there.
Exactly.
Incorporating one trainee a year, training program a year, 2 training programs a year is an investment in your company.
Definitely.
When you invest in your employees, you invest in your company. So what is running the company? We have the CEO, CFO, all the upper management. But who's doing the work? Who's doing the hardcore work? The employees.
Definitely.
So you want the employees to be functioning well. And if you want to resemble that within our physical body, this is what's happening with us. We have, I think it's 17 trillion brain cells in our brain, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That's great.
You want those, like I call them your employees. They're working for you.
Brain function.
Yeah, they're working for you. Your brain cells are working for you. So you want to train them. So I train my brain cells every day because I want them to work well for me.
Exactly.
So apply the same thing onto your business. You want your employees to be working and functioning smoothly, in the best way, having the best performance. Also, when you invest in their growth, they themselves are going to be happy. And you know what happens when people are happy. They give you more.
Definitely.
So you want them to be happy. You want them to feel like you care about them. You want them to understand that they are important.
Exactly.
They are not replaceable.
Exactly.
So this is how any organization can.
Exactly. So we mentioned organizations, individuals. We talked about business leaders, but now let's focus on their techniques and therapies after this break. So the viewers, we'll take a break and we have a report we share with you now. It's about several process. Then we'll be right back with our guest this evening. Stay tuned.
Silver has long been valued for its white metallic luster, its ability to be readily worked, and its resistance to the corrosive effects of moisture and oxygen. The luster of the pure metal is due to its electron configuration, which results in its reflecting all electromagnetic radiation of wavelengths longer than 3,000 angstroms. Thus, all visible light, that is, light with wavelengths between 4,000 and 7,000 angstroms, is effectively reflected, conferring the white color. Silver, Ag, like gold, crystallizes in the face-centered cubic system. Silver was discovered after gold and copper about 4000 BCE, when it was used in jewelry and as a medium of exchange. Although some silver-bearing ores contain silver as their largest metal value, virtually none has silver as its main constituent. A typical ore might contain 0.085% silver, 0.5% lead, and 0.5% copper. Silver-bearing ores are mined by open pit or underground methods, and then are crushed and ground. Since virtually all the ores are sulfides, they are amenable to flotation separation. Even silver that has been fully work-hardened, either by rolling or forging, gradually recrystallizes, even at room temperature. This greatly softens the metal, making it susceptible to scratching and marring. To maintain hardness, therefore, other metals are added to form alloys that are harder, stronger, and less prone to fatigue.
We're back, dear viewers, with our guest this evening, Hassa Al-Hassawi, Transformation Coach. Welcome back, Ms. Hassa. It's really a great subject when it comes to leaders and the therapies and techniques they have to adopt and follow to improve their skills and improve their subconscious mind. So what role does, or what specific techniques or therapies that can help leaders harness the power of their subconscious mind? They need to improve it so they can focus more on the process of their work.
For sure, communication. Leaders have to learn more about communication and how they can communicate with different personalities and how they can communicate their message well. So communication is one of the very integral parts of being a good leader. Understanding yourself and understanding the other is a really great thing any leader can learn, and there are many ways you can understand yourself and others. There are physical behavior, posture, tone of voice. There are so many things. This is why I mentioned earlier, learning. You keep on learning there. You keep on adding on to the value of your mind.
Exactly.
There are programs for leadership, and there are programs for time management and all of that. I am from the school that believes a lot in first working with your subconscious mind and then doing all the other things.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, because I believe, like, no matter, which is something that happened with me personally, I learned all the time management skills, and my time was still all over the place.
Exactly.
Because I had the belief that I don't have time.
Exactly.
So when I switched my belief, I went into my subconscious mind, I recognized, I released, and I repatterned that belief. Then I could apply all the time management skills that I have learned from all the courses that I have had, from all,
That's great.
So
you applied it.
Yeah, it's much more functional, but there are things we do externally and things we do internally.
Definitely.
Leaders must know how to balance both.
Exactly.
We cannot just work internally, and we definitely cannot just work externally.
Exactly. So when it comes to employees, they have specific tasks to do and finish, and then they will get rewarded and promoted for it. But when it comes with the leaders, it's really stressful sometimes to them, like the stress, the time management, adjusting your emotions, as you mentioned, the external and internal emotions, and also managing anger. It can be, we can face anger management problems sometimes when it comes to our entrepreneurship or being leaders, business leaders. So how can mindfulness and meditation practices aid in improving subconscious influence on leadership? How can we do that?
Well, mindfulness and meditation teaches you many things, but one of the very important things that you learn from mindfulness and meditation is, number one, being conscious of your thoughts. Number two, you learn how to detach from your thoughts. So when you learn that, because you are sitting still for a long time, you learn to detach from thoughts that are there. Then you go and you apply that at work. When you're angry, you detach from the anger. When you're frustrated, you detach from the frustration.
Exactly.
Because you've practiced that with yourself.
Exactly.
And the hardest thing for you to conquer is yourself, nothing else. You learn how to conquer yourself, you can conquer anything.
Exactly.
If you know how to manage your own thoughts, you can manage anything.
Exactly.
So meditation and mindfulness teaches a person to be still in the chaos of their thoughts.
Become wise also.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you are still in the chaos of your thoughts, you then learn to detach from that chaos, and then you learn how you can release some of those thoughts and then choose the thoughts that you want.
Exactly.
I just went to retreat this month, and we did a 5-hour meditation.
That's great.
And it was,
Effective.
well, absolutely. But I think the thing I got the most out of that retreat, we did many meditations, but the 5-hour one like shocked me, because I realized that day how much control I have over my mind. So imagine I just learned this like a few weeks ago.
That's great.
So imagine how much more I have to learn about my mind,
yeah.
you know?
The foundation was amazing.
Yeah. So using this, like having that knowledge that you actually have the strength, you can sit still for 5 hours. You can do that. Then you get in a situation where you're angry, and now it's easier for you to like just take a step back.
Exactly.
And then you're like, okay, I'm angry, but that's there.
Exactly.
That's not in me. What can I do now?
Exactly. So now you reminded me of a very important word or definition for ourselves that can improve our skills, which is self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
How do we see ourselves? Where do we see ourselves? And how do we see ourselves in the future also, and in the present, and what we were at the past?
Mm-hmm.
All we can learn from. So what role does self-reflection play in understanding and also managing subconscious influences?
Self-reflection is the base of the work, because this is what you're doing. As we said, your kids are a reflection of you, your life is a reflection of what is inside of you. So when you try to flip that mirror and start looking at yourself, instead of looking at the elements that are outside of you, start looking at yourself. And then you self-reflect, and then the example that I give, it's like if I'm wearing those clothes, and I go and I look at a mirror. If I don't like what I see, I go and change the clothes. I don't break the mirror. I don't color the mirror.
Exactly.
So this is what self-reflection does. I look, what do I not like? Oh, I don't like the vest. I don't like the shoes. I go and I change it, and I come back and I look.
You change the reflection, but you cannot break it.
Yes. So you can break it, but then you don't have a mirror.
Definitely, yeah.
But you're still wearing the same thing.
Exactly.
This is what self-reflection does.
Definitely.
You understand it's inside of you.
Exactly.
You don't change the outside, you change the inside, you change what's here, and the outside is going to change.
Definitely. MashaAllah, our viewers and your trainees and the individual you worked with, MashaAllah, they're amazed of your character and personality and your presence when you be between them. So they are curious now to know the recipe. Yeah, they want the recipe of what made Hassa the person she is today. So they need to know the books, the courses, and the resources for leaders to learn more about subconscious mind? The recipe you had for yourself and you want to share with others?
Well, the recipe is self-reflection, honestly. But some of the many books that I personally read, I started with Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we even have a book club, and we choose books that we read, and we spend a long time reading them.
Definitely.
We don't rush through them, because to me it's important for my clients to understand rather than to just like tick off a book on the list.
And grow their knowledge also.
Yeah. I read Psycho-Cybernetics, which is about the mind and how a person about the subconscious beliefs mostly. It's mostly about, it is about a plastic surgeon who says he does plastic surgery and how he noticed the difference in his patients. Some patients actually thrived after plastic surgery, and some of them remained, and he did a search about those two. Working with the Law is one of my favorite all-time books. I'm currently working on a program for it so that it's more attainable for my clients and the followers, so that it's something audio, something they can listen to. It's an amazing book about 11 principles for successful living. So it talks about 11 laws that everyone must apply in their lives for a successful living. For sure, like I did this like a rule for myself. I should always be investing in myself.
Definitely.
So I should always be, this is what I did with myself. I always pay for something that makes my mind better.
Exactly.
As soon as I finish a program, I start another program.
Exactly.
I start another program. I'm always investing in my mind.
Definitely.
Because this is the thing, this is my tool, this is the thing that I need to be reflected.
Exactly.
So my recipe for success is invest in yourself.
Exactly.
Keep on investing in yourself, because what's the point? Why do you want to invest in anything else?
Definitely. Well, Hassa, thank you so much for the valuable information you shared with us this evening. We really enjoyed this information you shared with us and this amazing information. So before we end this inspiring interview, we'd like to know your opinion, or how do you see the role of subconscious mind and leadership evolving in the future? Tell us more about the future tools you can imagine or you can see in the horizon coming.
I think we live in a very lucky time right now. We're very blessed, we're very privileged to be exposed to so much knowledge, even if it's just from social media. So, of course, this is going to have this amount of never-ending knowledge. Of course, it's going to have an effect on the leadership and organizations all over our country.
Exactly.
So I think we are very privileged to be living in this time, because I have a belief that we will see drastic change, and we will be ready for that drastic change, because evolution, mental evolution is so much faster now, and people are embracing it in a much easier and acceptable way. So of course this is going to be reflected in leaderships and organizations and all the companies that we see.
Hopefully, definitely. Well, thanks again, Hassa, for being this evening with us on Hala Kuwait. And we really wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Pleasure. The viewers we just had with us, Hassa Al-Hassawi, Transformation Coach. Let's go now and share with you our third report of the evening. It's a really special subject, and it's about Picasso. So if you like art, stay tuned.
Pablo Picasso is considered to be one of the most famous painters in the 20th century. He was born in Malaga, Spain on October 25, 1881. In addition to painting, Picasso was also a printmaker, ceramicist, stage designer, poet, and playwright. He spent most of his adult life in France. The enormous body of Picasso's work remains, and the legend lives on, a tribute to the vitality of the disquieting Spaniard with the sombre piercing eyes, who superstitiously believed that work would keep him alive. For nearly 80 of his 91 years, Picasso devoted himself to an artistic production that contributed significantly to and paralleled the whole development of modern art in the 20th century. Color never came easily to Picasso, and he reverted to a generally more Spanish palette. The tones of the blue period were replaced from the late 1904 to 1906 in the so-called rose period by those of pottery, of flesh, and of the earth itself. Picasso grew up to be one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. He is known for co-founding the Cubist movement, the invention of constructed sculpture, the co-invention of collage, and for the wide variety of styles that he helped develop and explore. Picasso is now regarded as one of the artists who most defined the revolutionary developments in the plastic arts in the opening decades of the 20th century. At the time of his death, he owned some 50,000 works in various media from every period of his career, a selection of which passed into possession of the French state and the rest to his heirs. Their exhibition and publication served to reinforce the highest estimates of Picasso's astonishing powers of invention and execution over a span of more than 80 years. And with that, dear viewers, we come to the conclusion of tonight's episode. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we want to thank everyone who has collaborated for this episode.
Definitely such an inspiring episode, special our guest this evening. And thank you so much for co-hosting with me this evening, Fatma. And dear viewers, as Fatma said, we reached the end of tonight's episode. I really hope you enjoy your evening and also have a lovely night.